did not shy away from the pacing. Just think of how intimidating that would be for someone stepping into an environment surrounded by some of the best who have experienced some of the toughest moments that collegiate track and field has to offer to them, and making the most of it. Living life to the fullest. Full speed ahead. We go to the men's Invitational 5000. Many names in this group don't need much introduction. One of them you saw on your start list, Woody Kincaid, is among them. We nearly saw the collegiate record broken on the women's side. The men's side, I would argue, has equal opportunity for Abdi Nur's mark of 13:06.32 from 2022 to fall. But Woody Kincaid, the biggest name in this race, the 32-year-old Nike pro from Littleton, Colorado. Look out for Woody in this race, his first track effort of the season, wearing hip number 1. He's there in third. You see him rocking the matching uniform to our third open heat pace setter, Craig Eagles. Kincaid, the former indoor American 5K record holder, at 12:51.61. Boston University in 2023. Again, the American 5K has just taken such an upturn over the past half decade. And Galen Ruppert comes so close prior to breaking the 13-minute barrier indoors, to Grant Fisher finally doing it in 12:53, and Woody Kincaid in his comeback effort. You know about his ability to kick. He wants this to be a fast effort out front. That is for certain. His pace setters, Clement Dwigu, hitting 63s along with Theo Quacks, who was in this race last year. And Woody Kincaid right there behind, 135, 1 through 600 meters. We'll get our first of 5-kilometer splits coming up next as our racing field tries to assemble from there. Some of the guys in contention for the collegiate record. One of them who's already set a collegiate record in the men's 10,000 meters, Ishmael Kip Karui. Look out for the New Mexico Lobo, one of those 4 that you just saw move up there. We've got a total of 5 Lobos in this race. But wearing hip number 3, Evans Karui of Washington State. He's another one to watch. Karui, the Kenyan-born NCAA 10K leader, 27:37 to win the Stanford Invitational, has rejoined with Woody Kincaid and the top 2 pacers. A nice move up to the K, just right beneath 2:38. Officially right at 2:38 for Dwigu and Quacks and Kincaid, so 2:38 puts us on pace for 12:50, which would be a lifetime best for Kincaid and the rest. How much longer can they keep this up, though? You got Valentin Soka of CBU moving into third in the racing field, and behind him, our new top New Mexico Lobo and arguable favorite to challenge the collegiate record, Habtom Samuel. Samuel, of course, the cross-country runner-up back in the fall. Ran that famous race where he lost his shoe and still gritted it out for a silver medal. Habtom Samuel not only has the collegiate record in its sights, but his national record. He has Eritrean heritage. His national record by Zersne Tadese from 2006, 12:59.27. And Habtom Samuel in a New Mexico Lobo has been put in a huge position to go and chase after that. He was 3 years old, for perspective, when that record was set. And has likely had his eyes on it for a long time as Dwigu, our first pace setter, steps off just prior to the conclusion of the first mile of the race. Woody Kincaid now second in the field. All we've really seen from Woody in this calendar year is a 12th place finish at the NYC half. An hour, 3 minutes for the man with the big kick who won the outdoor Olympic trials in 2021. He's now starting to fall back a little bit. So how will his fitness be feeling? Could he just be looking to find a place where he doesn't need to do as much work or exhaust himself in the early stages? Theo Quacks. We know he comes from a great running family of distance runners, milers. Evans Karui of Washington State comes from the nation where running is part of the culture. Habtom Samuel, a little bit adrift, but coming back, bringing Soka and now Kincaid, and also Patrick Kiprop of Arkansas Elite with him. And then the second of the two Lobos, the 10K collegiate record holder, Ishmael Kip Karui, who beat Samuel to the line at Sound Runnings, the 10 a few weeks ago, is right there too. I'd argue he's a bit adrift as we currently speak. Just came through our second kilometer. Well below that 5:30 barrier. Pretty close to 5:20. Second K might have been a little bit off the first. But keeping in mind, we've still got a lot of racing to do. Our halfway split will be around 300 meters from now. We'll see how much more Theo Quacks has in him. Further back in the field, we've got Ahmed Jaziri, one of our NAZ Elite Hoka runners. A few other collegians I'm looking out for. Saeed Mahal of Iowa State. He placed very nicely in the 10K last night, and his teammate, Sinele Masando, paced him through 5K. We'll see if Mahal has a chance to potentially pace his teammate through. You saw it just enter the main portion of your frame on the back straightaway. A couple Stanford Cardinal runners, one of them being Lex Young, who came into Bryan Clay as the number 2 10K runner in Division I. He's right there behind his teammate Cole Sprout, and a few more positions behind Thomas Boyden. Just giving you the sense of who to look out for. All right, there it is, 6:35 thereabouts, not a couple seconds quicker. So slipping just behind that 13-minute pace, but don't forget about Brian Nassau's meet record. That is a 13:29 from last year. Again, just the meet has been getting faster and faster since. Karui was the one who initially drew the field back to Kincaid and the early pace setters, and he is the one leading Habtom Samuel and Valentin Soka further ahead. Soka, a South American 5,000 meter champion representing Uruguay, who's 22 years of age, competing for Cal Baptist. Woody Kincaid now having to lead the chase pack over Patrick Kiprop. Of course, with a fast race like this and not much other track races in his legs, it's hard to imagine that we're going to see a signature Woody Kincaid moment, but for as long as he's in this race, we're going to keep that possibility alive. Coming up to our 3,000 meter split, we're going to be well below 8 here as Karui, to the applause of his pace setter Theo Quacks, takes over at 7:54, 7:55 with 5 to go. Kiprop now leading the chase group. Kincaid continuing to slip. And then the next group of Lobos, Matthew Kosgei, who before last night when Jeffrey Kirwa became the second fastest steepler in collegiate history, was the leader over the 3K SC. Evans Karui, I know that 27:37 10K of his caught a lot of eyes in his sophomore year with Washington State. Just showing that strength so early at Stanford. His NCAA lead held up last night in another fast race that saw Dylan Schubert move to number 2 on that list. How will that strength pay off here? Habtom Samuel, we know he's got some superior 10K strength. Again, he ran his run at the 10. Of course, the 10K record, as far as the qualifying lists go, is what we're considering not necessarily all-purpose bests when it comes to collegiates. The 10 more so an opportunity for athletes of all skill levels. We've seen it open to high schoolers, to collegiates, to pros. So that's where we derive that stat line from. The Habtom Samuel, who was just off of his teammate Ishmael Kipkurui, who is now just right off of him with less than 4 laps remaining in this 5,000 meters. The NCAA lead on the men's side thus far this season, a very modest 13:22.06 by Rocky Hansen. So there's going to be some major shakeups in the rankings for certain, no matter who finishes where. 10:01 with 3 to go. And Samuel, with the speed that he's been able to display before, you have to think that he's going to have a strong kick in him as well. Drew Bosley now has broken away from the next group. The former NCAA indoor 3K record holder from Northern Arizona has found a nice gap and has a chance of potentially rounding up Evans Karui, who's fallen off the top 3 after doing a lot of early hard running. Habtom Samuel, less than a K to go. We'll see what kind of last close he can put together. It's gonna need to be a sub 2:30 scorcher to see that magical 12 and change, but Abdi Nur's collegiate record could be in severe danger. Valentin Soka has given it a phenomenal run as well. Let's see how much longer he can last as the 2 Lobo teammates, both with East African heritage, Eritrea, Kenya, teammates here in the States, continue their push forward. Samuel, if he can kick it as hard as possible, don't forget about his nationals record. 12:59 for Eritrea, Ishmael Kipkurui. If he takes the win, he could very well set himself up for his 2nd collegiate record. But Samuel now starting to pull ahead of those pacing lights. Sub 13 is going to be difficult from here. Just how fast can we go here at Bryan Clay? Brian Masau's meet record is already an afterthought. Do we have a race on our hands between the New Mexico Lobos? Habtom Samuel hits the bell. Right around 12:06, he's gonna need a 60-second last lap, at latest a 61. Can he drop the hammer? We've seen him do it plenty of times over the shorter distances, and even in cross country. The 21-year-old is pulling away now, starting to get the arms going. Habtom Samuel, 13:04.92 for a lifetime best indoors, chasing down Abdi Nur's outdoor record of 13:06.32. Less than 200 meters to go, and Kipkurui, the 10K record holder, still ahead of the pacing lights in 2nd. But rounding the final bend, having made a steady draw up in the early goings, and now unleashing in the home straightaway, Habtom Samuel. 10 seconds to go, just over 50 meters, and the applause of the Bryan Clay crowd. 4, 5, 6, he's got it! A collegiate outdoor 5K record for Habtom Samuel. 13:05.87. And everybody else coming across the line in storming fashion. Just look at these sprint finishes, the other Lobos. There was hip 21, Collins Kiprodich. He was 20. Evans Kiplagat was 21. And now they all get to celebrate together. Just looking at some other times that we saw there. Where did Valentin Soka finish? He held on for 3rd at 13:13.10. And that was just 8 seconds off of the Uruguay national record. Santiago Catrofe from last summer achieved that mark. It's Valentin Soka, our bronze medalist. Evans Karui took fourth. Drew Bosley with a great finish for fifth. They will now be your top five. Woody Kincaid ultimately held on for sixth. So he held his own quite well in his opening 5K of the season. We'll look to see plenty more out of the two-time national champion, Habtom Samuel, the reigning 10,000 meter champion in the NCAA, takes the win at the Bryan